Good afternoon. My name is Boyd Bradshaw. I'm president of Res Coalition, which is a business league for residential care providers. We have just over 1,000 members here across the state. We are also a member of the DS task force, and some of the data you're asking is actually rather intriguing with regards to residential care. Between 2001 and 2013, there's been a net decrease in the number of beds in the state. This net decrease has occurred despite the fact that there has been an aggressive move to close Agnews and Lanterman by increasing the number of beds in the community. This means that the traditional normal residential care facilities in the state are closing at an alarming rate. I myself have had to suffer that fate because I have 2 children's programs that I closed just last year. Talking to DDS about it, they've indicated they're going to go ahead and try and reallocate some money, CPP money, to open children's homes, but that we wouldn't have to open if we were able to stay open with the current rate structure. I want to encourage you to take the time to slow down and pay attention to Marty Moto's comments and his recommendations, because we definitely need to look at the DS task force as a stepping stone moving forward. And within that structure, there are a number of things that we do need to triage to try to address a lot more quickly. This 10% is an excellent step in the right direction, but ladies and gentlemen, it is just a Band-Aid. It does not begin to deal with the problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tim Hoban. I'm a father of a 30-year-old daughter with disabilities. Followed the field for probably 40 years. Got my first job, my volunteer job at Sonoma State Hospital in about 1971. And from that experience, decided I wanted to teach, and have done that for 30 years since. I want to first highly urge you to support the 10% raise and the increased 5% raises from that point on, and look at that rate structure, the funding whole mechanism to think about that. I can tell you on the ground with my daughter, who's in supported living, that currently she has lost care providers already. And that's a tragedy both for my daughter and for some of those people that have so much to offer but have to quit the field because of the cost. I went to the University of California and personally tried to recruit about 40 university students in Davis. Of those, only one person actually took the job because of the wages and because of the difficulty of the work. So I feel what's being asked is the barest of minimums, and I have hopes we can put our heart into this work.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Helen Motter, and I'm the president of the Southern California Consortium for Behavioral Analysis. And our organization is 38 companies that provide applied behavior analysis, or ABA, services to individuals with autism. And we serve thousands of individuals with autism throughout all of California. And we wholeheartedly support the 10% increase to rates and the 5% annual thereafter. However, in addition, I wanted to point out that in Rashi's legislative analyst office report, she mentioned that freezing rates was not the only cost containment measure that happened during the Depression. They also implemented median rates, and the median rates are completely unsustainable, and I would urge you to add to your initiatives for change to repeal the median rates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen Johnson. Just wanted to say thank you to you all for asking and answering some very difficult questions. Really appreciate that. I'm going to echo what my colleague Helen just mentioned about median rates, because I was an agency owner doing behavioral work with children with autism, had to actually close down because I could not sustain under the median rates. Too much pressure, too much competition to compete with others who are getting paid more for what they were doing. So I would recommend also that we repeal that median rate, get rid of it, banish it, don't bring it up. In addition, the 10% increase would be a boon for the agency, for the field, and desperately needed at this point in time. In addition, as someone else said before me too, if we could really think in a real thoughtful manner about funding down the road, because it's just going to get more complicated as these kids grow, and many of them are already adults. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your comments, and thank you for holding this hearing, giving us the opportunity to give our comments. I'm going to first speak to you as a parent. I'm a parent of a child with autism who's currently 14 years old, and you might want to hire him too. He got services prior to all of the rate cuts, and rates were frozen at the time where he received services, about 10 to 12 years ago, but at least they were negotiated rates that were manageable for agencies to provide quality intervention. And because of that, he no longer requires intervention and is living a full life in general education and involved in lots of community activities. I'm very interested in public policy, so you consider him in, about 7 or 8 more years.
Right on.
And also, I learned so much from my son that I became a provider, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst, also providing behavioral services in Southern California. And I'm going to echo my colleagues' comments about the median rates. They're just not sustainable. So if we want more agencies to open and provide quality services for the people that are in the community now and are moving into the community as we close the DCs, we really need to do something about the median rates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me today. My name is Teresa Brakefield. I work at Valley Mountain Regional Center in Stockton, San Joaquin County, and I'm here because I just want to tell you a story. I work in children's unit, and I have only placed 2 children out of home for behavior treatment. Both children were assaulted in their home, getting their treatment. And I think that the reason why is because the homes could not afford to get either A, better employees, or B, could not provide the training to be able to handle the children with behavior issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Julie Castro. I work for San Andreas Regional Center many years, most currently in the Early Start unit, working mainly with children, with families who are monolingual Spanish-speaking in East San Jose is bulk of my caseload. I'm also a family member. I have an adult sister who's served by this service system. On behalf of my sister, I want to echo what people have said, that they don't want constant changes in providers. On behalf of myself and my coworkers, and I will speak to Early Start, we work with a variety of families, the diversity of the state, families, the 25 to 30% of families who are in poverty. We need to be able to have the time to do really in-depth resource linkage. Early Start is supposed to be enhanced service coordination for families as they're starting this journey of raising a child with developmental challenges. Instead of the caseload of 1 to 62, which is one of the highest actually in Early Start in the country, our caseloads are much higher for all of the reasons that were stated earlier. And our desire and our passion would be not just to struggle to meet mandates, but to really meet the spirit of these affirming legislations, the capacity building legislation of the Lanterman Act and IDEA Part C. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn Vaughn, Strategies to Empower People. I'm the Director of Medical Services. Leslie, Hugh, John, Henry, Nancy, Matt, Joey, Robert, Maud, and Jackie. 10 reasons for a 10% increase for community-based services. 10 people who grew up in California's developmental centers but lived the last 10, 20, and 30 years of their life in their community, in their home, surrounded by the people they chose that speak their language. They were allowed to leave because of the ARC versus DDS decision of 1985. It's my life's work to help them navigate community medical and psychiatric services. Is it a challenge? You bet. But this week, my team is assisting a Sonoma mover in cancer treatment into supported living services. I have no doubt he's going to thrive. Moral and economic decisions are not at odds here. 10 for 10.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mark Klaus. I'm a board member for the San Diego Regional Center, also the president of an organization called Home of Guiding Hands, which is in Assemblymember Jones's district, next to Hamul, actually, so I know where that is as well. But more importantly, I'm a grandfather of a young child who received services through the regional center system. And Assemblymember Thurmond said he wanted to just kind of stick to the facts. And I think the facts are that 280,000 people are supported in California. We heard DDS earlier today said that one of the highlights in their budget was additional funding to bring those providers that would be paying less than $10 an hour up to that $10 new minimum wage. So by the state's own admission, our direct care professionals are minimum wage earners. Our starting wages in San Diego are $12, $13, or $14 an hour. We have 40 full-time openings. Those are the facts. Rates have to be changed. A rate committee is not going to make a difference. This has to be an investment in the future, and we need to make that investment now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Valerie Wren. I'm here today from San Mateo with my 31-year-old son, Thomas, a regional center client in support of Senator Bell's recommendations to you. 10% is a needed initial tourniquet for a system that has lost a critical amount of blood. In the past several years, it's been impossible for me to find or retain appropriately qualified direct support staff for my son for the majority portion of each day. This is a direct result of chronically underfunded provider rates, as well as a funding formula that doesn't recognize the higher cost of living in specific areas of the state, or the reality that many individuals currently in or about to enter the system have complex needs that are comparable to those exiting developmental centers, but not the needed enhanced resource dollars to support them appropriately in the community. A particular concern is the prospect of losing millions of dollars of federal funding if California doesn't meet new and sweeping home and community-based service standards. California is currently not in a promising position to receive them based on the erosion of its infrastructure of critical supports. I urge you to invest the time and thought in a needed long-term solution for critically needed community-based supports for those who wish to take advantage of home and community-based service philosophy and opportunities, but who have intensive needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Thomas. Good work. Hello, my name is Lynn Barito, and I am the mother of a 29-year-old young man who's challenged severely by autism. And I want to thank you for holding this hearing and being open to hearing what so many of us have to share with you. I'm in a quandary because I have a bookload of things to share with you, and of course I have 1 minute. And the other problem I have is that my son wanted to come today and read his own writing, but he couldn't do it because he wanted to attend his computer class at San Jose City College because he's a very devoted student. So I ask that you imagine my son here. He's 6'2". He's a big guy. He's a very strong young man. He's taken me to the ground once, so I definitely know how strong he is. But he's an extraordinary human being. So I want to introduce my son and give me 1 more minute because there's 2 of us standing here, please. Okay. So, my son, severely challenged by autism, difficult speaking like you and I, uses supported typing to express himself most effectively, and then reads aloud his writing. Acquired a seizure disorder 2 years ago. A client of the San Andreas Regional Center since 2 years old. Lives in his own apartment near San Jose City College, receives Section 8 subsidy, and miraculously found a landlord willing to accept a Section 8 waiver in San Jose. Tough. It was a miracle.
Could you please make your final comments?
Okay. Well, I can't tell you anything more, but here's Tyler. Dear members of the Assembly Budget Subcommittee, now imagine Tyler. He can't speak like we can. Okay, he can't talk fast. So you got to give me some more minutes because I'm talking for Tyler. Thank you.
With all due respect, if you would please make your final comments.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing my testimony today. I am a young man challenged by autism who has a difficult time speaking, so I type my thoughts and then read them aloud. This makes communication very slow and arduous. I hate having to depend on someone else in order for me to get my voice out. My goal is to be an independent communicator so I can stand alone alone to express myself. This way of communicating makes life very complicated because I need to train all of my staff, so I have communication 24 hours every day of the week. Without my ability to communicate, life gets very lonely. I feel like I'm slowly dying inside because I can't talk to anyone, including my staff, who have not been adequately trained over a substantial amount of time. Add to this situation the high turnover of staff that I have. Let me finish. That
Excuse
I have
me.
continually experienced in the last 2 years.
Ma'am, I have to ask you to please conclude. I just want to get to all the speakers, and we have one more panel. Thank you. I thank you for the text. I'm happy to read it. Thank you. Next speaker, please. Thank you. Next speaker, please. Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Thank you. My name is Eric Champ. I'm with United Cerebral Palsy here in Sacramento. More importantly, I represent 750 staff members that work for our organization and 4,200 clients that we serve on a monthly basis. When we talk, I just would want to urge the committee, as we talk about rates and funding, we're not talking about dollars, you're talking about people and support. When we talk about clients coming out of the developmental centers with difficult, challenging behaviors or requiring medical attention, you're often talking about a direct support professional that's working with them, with that client, providing that services. Same thing with jobs, same things with day programs. You're talking about people. And over the course of the years, the way that we've structured the funding is the state has more or less made the choice to make those workers minimum wage workers, and that's not okay. And when my staff asks me, minimum wage is going up, are we going to get a rate increase? I have to say no, because you don't make technically less than $10 an hour. More importantly, I'd urge that you guys continue to look at the larger rate structure as opposed to just the 10%. I'm in absolute support of the Lanterman's 10%, but that's the first step. Let's get a sustainable solution for the clients. They absolutely deserve it. Thank you for your time. And I'm introducing Rick.
Thank you. If I was waving my hand, it's because I'm nervous after that last episode with that other lady. But anyway, Rick Hodgkins again. I forgot to mention my stage title: disability rights advocate, disability rights activist, and disability rights extremist. I should also mention that I too served on the Developmental Center Stakeholder Task Force, a stint on that in the work groups, in addition to what the Lanterman Coalition and Marty Emoto said. I would also recommend that we bring back social recreation programs, summer camp, and all that. And if the parents of the regional center have to pay, a family cost participation fee, so should those for people residing in the developmental centers. It's only fair. And finally, I think you should make consumers and your former bosses members of a panel next time we have this conversation. That way, you won't scare them off. Thank you.
I'm the one who's scared. Well said, though. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Glenn Korngold. I'm a service coordinator at Alta California Regional Center. Unlike other social service agencies, we don't take a case, solve it, and move on. We have our clients for the duration, as long as we're there, as long as they're still alive. Therefore, we need to build relationships. We need to understand who they are, what they need, and keep an eye on them. From the time I started about 10 years ago, my caseload was over compliance. It was about 75. Now it's moving up to about 95, and I think it's reached a critical point where now I'm feeling that it can't be done. You hit a point where, yes, it's a lot of hard work, but then you reach a point where this is work that cannot be done. And so I have a fear that there's going to be people who are going to fall through the cracks who need help. At this point, I'm just triaging. I'm getting that which is on fire taken care of, while those who need services but can't speak up are getting nothing. So thank you. I'm asking for the 10% as well.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maddie Parfit, and I'm an intake secretary at Alta California Regional Center. I'm the first point of contact for people who call to apply for our services, and that includes parents who've just been told that their child has a developmental disability. They're upset, they're confused, they call us because they need help. And I have to tell these people, it'll be 6 to 8 weeks before you even get a chance to talk to an intake coordinator, which is only the first step of a long process to determine eligibility. We are understaffed. We are underfunded. And so I'm asking you to please support the 10% funding increase. Please help us to help the people that we serve so that they can live better lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Andy Ponce, and for the past 16 years, I've served as a service coordinator and as a resource developer for Alta California Regional Center, as well as being the parent of a service recipient. In addition to the 10%, of course, to help with recruitment and retention of service coordinators for caseload relief, when it comes to the resources we have available, the tools to pursue our trade, we really have to take a look at expanded use of startup funding for recruitment of resources, reconsideration of the median rate law. It has made it exceptionally difficult to develop community-based resources, reconsideration of the rate-setting procedures for DDS set rate programs, such as day programs and care homes. It's antiquated and has led to all the problems that we've had with providers not being able to evolve with time. The rates that they get paid just aren't commensurate with what's going on out in the community. Also, if possible, some manner of schedule for rate review for our long-standing providers. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maria Mendezona, and I am an intake coordinator at Alta California Regional Center. I serve basically the Hispanic Latino community because I speak Spanish, and I also speak Tagalog and Visayan. Now, I am step number 2 to Mattie, who just spoke. So she gets the call, and after we kind of determine that there is a suspicion of a developmental disability, it comes to me. And I coordinate that whole 120-day process. I love my job. And because I serve the community where they can be very comfortable in, I feel that I'm actually helping them with that very first step of knowing yes or no, does my child have a developmental disability? But because of that, I've had to, because of the large numbers, especially with the DSM-5 that opened up last year, and I think you're aware of that. That means to say everybody's rushing in to try to find out if they're eligible or not. Because of that, I've had to cut down on some of my services. I used to do more home visits, and I have to look at my time because of the caseloads. And that's all I want to say. So if you can support that 10 for 10, that would be the beginning. Thank you.
Gracias para todo.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Judy Leonard, and in 11 days I will celebrate my 33rd anniversary at Golden Gate Regional Center. And this morning I realized that was half my age. In 1982, when I was hired, I was told that at the end of my 6-month probationary period, I would be eligible to receive up to a 10% salary increase. Well, that's pretty much been the pattern over the years. There's nothing promised, no guarantees. The years of funding cuts, rate freezes, inflation have hurt the regional center. They've hurt the service providers, but more importantly, the Californians with developmental disabilities have been hurt the most. I ask you to support the Lanterman Coalition's letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leonard, and happy birthday and happy retirement. Thank you for all you do.
Good afternoon. My name is Betsy Cates, and I'm on the board of the ARC California, and I'm also the parent of a 33-year-old son with autism. He moved into supported living services 2 years ago, and pretty quickly we could see that the biggest problem was going to be staffing. In the 2 years that he's been there, the staff turnover has approached 90%. Only one person was ever hired with any experience. The remainder, I don't think, understood what the job was all about, and some didn't even really know what a developmental disability was. As you can imagine, for someone with autism who needs structure and routine and stability, it's not been going well for him or for us. There is a fix for this. The staff, we need to be able to hire direct support professionals who are more aware of what the job is. We need to give them the training that they need, the skillful and supportive supervision so that they remain in the job, respect, and most importantly, the compensation they deserve for doing a demanding job. Please support a minimum of a 10% increase into our system. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Anna Quant, and I have a son who is 23, and he's high-functioning autism. And I quit work when he was failing first grade, and I decided to be his constant support and to help him with school. And I'm very proud of him. I'm still helping him, but he is successfully attending City College of San Francisco. I'm not here to ask for services for him, but I would like to say that for 10 years, I've been following as best I can the statistics and the papers on the increased rate of autism in the United States. And I have concluded that that increased rate is real. It is an epidemic. The CDC came out with their numbers a couple of years ago. 1 in 68 8-year-olds has some form of autism. They've not been able to find anything like that rate among adults. The tsunami of people with autism is right behind my son. They're in high school right now. And they're being taken care of by the school system now, but it's going to be hitting the adult services, disability services very soon. The public health establishment and possibly the newspapers are happy to sweep this under the rug, saying it's better diagnosis, but this community is not going to be able to make it just magically go away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine McCoy with San Andreas Regional Center and also SCIU DD Council. And I just wanted to say we've heard so many great testimonies today, and I know I'm not naive. I know you guys listen to this kind of testimony a lot from different portions of this system. And I just wanted to say, please remember us when you go forward in your budget year this year. Please remember us. I know that's where your heart is, but please remember our stories so that when push comes to shove, we get something this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dan Villa, and I work with San Andreas Regional Center also as a service coordinator. I work out of the Salinas office. And I want to thank both of you for serving on this panel and also for your bipartisan support for the rate increase and for hopefully a fix to this whole problem, because it is very much needed. And I hope maybe perhaps both of you can go to Washington and show how there can be bipartisan support and work together. You can solve problems. I do want to say that, working in the Salinas office, I work with very dedicated co-workers, trying to find solutions to provide a better quality of life for our clients. And it's getting more and more difficult. I see more frustration with them to try and many times I hear them say, I don't know what to do because there are not the resources out there. And now, for example, in our area, in the residential homes, there's probably at least 2 or 3 providers who are close to retirement, and there's nobody behind them to come after. And that could affect about 40 clients who, if their homes close down, we would have to find someplace else to go. So the system is very much in peril, and it does need a good fix. So thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Cortez-Roth, representing the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. We provide behavioral health treatment services in all of California regional centers, and the rates simply do not reflect the cost of services. Oftentimes, services are provided at a loss, and of course, that is not a sustainable business model. And it makes it very difficult for us to attract new practitioners at a time where demand is growing. We just heard the 1 in 68. We need to be able to attract new practitioners to this field. So we're here to urge you to support the 10% rate increase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Krista Loomis, Full Circle. We do supported living, independent living. And I just want to thank you, Chairman and committee members. I believe you hear us. I believe you understand what we're going through, and I want to thank you for that understanding. It's time to take it to the next step and get the 10%. Thank you.
It's good to see a former colleague and my boss. Thank you, Ms. Loomis, for your great work.
Hi, I'm Chris Wasco. I want you to continue the rate increase of 10% and also keep our services like me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wasco.